All right, and as always, we are back and with some technical issues because I got to work on Twitter stuff after this. That's all I'm going to say. It's not broadcasting on Twitter right now. So,
Sweet.
I was just going to post a message and I'm going to post it after. We're back. As I put in the episode, take a deep breath. Like it's going to be okay, Syracuse fans. We're going to get to Cornell though. There's a couple things
No need to
we
push the
kind of
panic
talked about.
button.
Yeah, a couple things that I want to get to right off the bat. Let's just phrase it that way.
Mhm.
I got a new flash for people. Gary Gate is not going to get fired next week, so you can stop with the Gary Gate post right now. I mean, and the expectation that they're going to beat everybody when they go up against a number one team that has a number one scoring offense. Like, I want them to win every game. There are people who Matt knows who have joked with me about me saying Syracuse is going to lose some of those games.
Mhm.
I think we also have to be realistic, though.
Yeah. Yep.
like,
That Cornell has the best attack line in the country,
yeah,
and they showed it on Saturday with two of the three of them putting up 8 points.
yeah, and this that little rant is just about Cornell because I've seen it all year.
Yeah.
I've seen it in wins, and it's stupid. I've also seen it everywhere else. Like,
Yep. So let's go. Let's go back for a minute, right? So
yep,
it started with people being up in arms about the Corrigan sports scenario. This is even
yep,
before the broadcast, right? Let's not even talk about
yep,
the broadcast yet. So
yeah,
people were upset that where this game was being played, where it was broadcast. And if you look at the grand picture of things, Billy Joel was supposed to perform yesterday.
yep,
That's why the game was not being played at the Dome. And Gary's thought process was, I'm not going to go play at Cornell and give them another home game because they're supposed to be playing here.
right,
So let's do a neutral site. We've done these Corrigan sports games before. It's a
yep,
way for our program to make some money. It's a way for us to go where some of our players are from.
right,
It's a recruiting tool for the kids that are from Long Island that you want to get to come to both schools.
uh-huh.
So there's a lot of benefits there to the program. Is as frustrating as it was, they couldn't do anything about it because there was supposed to be a big concert there. And then Billy Joel had to cancel like a month ago for whatever reason. And everybody's
Yep,
like, oh, switch it back to the don't. You can't do that. Contracts are signed, negotiations
yeah,
have already been made. It's not like you can just it's not like we're going from Cornell to here. Like, you know, so it's people need to chill out. Is it annoying that it
yep.
was down on Long Island? You had to pay to get the stream, all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about the pain to get the stream because we're gonna get
Yep.
there really quick. And
But
as somebody, go ahead, Matt, finish that thought, and then
yeah,
I'll touch
so
on that.
just if we take a step back and look at the grand picture of why Gary did what he did, it makes sense and people need to chill
Yep.
out because there's a lot of benefits to it and he didn't want to give them another home game
Yeah,
because
and
they were supposed to be playing at our house this year.
I was gonna
So,
say, and I didn't want to drive to Ithaca. I'll just be frank. I didn't want to
yeah.
drive to Ithaca this
Well,
year,
and like
and
I know I've heard people talk about it and I can't remember who, so that doesn't matter, but like Gary is a very like big picture thinking
mhm,
guy. Maybe it was Beardsley or maybe it was another alum I was talking to or something. I don't. But anyways, he's a very big picture guy,
right,
and he trusts his assistants to run their respective areas, and he's going to take care of big picture. I'm going to work on getting the alums more involved. I'm going to work on fundraising. I'm going to work on some of these other things that are going to overall help the program.
right.
In a thing like that where now the team got paid to be down there and do it through Corrigan Sports is worth it because now maybe that's NIL money that we can use
Yep.
to get a transfer next year or in the next couple years or God knows what they'll use it for. Maybe they use it to put towards updating some of the facility. Like who knows? Like
Yep.
so people just need to chill out a little bit. Like
I was
so
gonna say,
yeah.
I also could go towards Joey coming back another year. Let's just be honest here.
I don't think he's going
there's,
anywhere.
you know what I mean. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, though. Like, it
At
could
the end of
go
every
towards.
season, everybody's going to speculate. I don't think he's going anywhere. Anyways,
I was gonna say Matt's the insider for Joey, so if Matt tells me it's not happening, it's gonna happen. That's all I'm gonna. And Matt knows the joke I'm making with that.
Yeah.
So,
Um, but
I
if
do
you
want
get
to
to
talk
this,
about the.
one thing I will say
Go
though
ahead.
is like, for the fact that you did have to pay to get the stream, the production quality was not great. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the cameras were shaky. They were not good at keeping track of the ball. And I'm saying this, saying that I watched maybe a total of 10 minutes of the game because it was during my son's birthday party. Luckily, I have a dad friend. Shout out Mike. I know he watches our weekly podcast too. So shout out Mike. He brought the laptop because he had paid for it and he streamed it at the
Nice.
birthday party on the one TV in the soccer center that was there. So I got to kind of every so often walk over, look at the screen a little bit. My wife even snapped a photo of us standing there with our arms crossed watching the game to prove that I was not fully paying attention to the birthday party the whole time.
Yeah.
But even what I saw, it felt like you're on a roller coaster ride. And I
Yeah.
know it from also what I saw, like you saw the flag in the background. It looked very windy for a chunk of the game. So either they didn't have cameras on tripods or they had them and it was windy enough that it was kind of jostling things around a bit.
Right.
Either way, it's not a good enough scenario there. Like, it just, for what people are paying, the quality was not there. And it's that I can understand people being frustrated with, and that's not anything that the program has control over. So, and even like things like the shot clock wasn't on the screen, like things like that, like they should be doing those if they specifically want to stream lacrosse, is you got to know what you need to put on the screen and what to like.
Yeah.
So
And
that I can understand people being very frustrated with.
I was gonna say, I want to be very clear. I don't have the technology to stream these games either, like broadcast it.
Yeah.
I understand the people complaining. I do genuinely, because as somebody who bought it, I think I told you I listened to 90% of the radio broadcast because it was
working
easier to
usually.
understand. Tim Leonard was explaining when the shot clock was down.
Yep.
And I just also want to say this, like, the price wasn't going to go down no matter how many people complained. There's a reason why I didn't say anything about the price. Did I think it was stupid? Yes. Do I think it's too much? Probably, to be honest, for one game, unless you're streaming it for the whole year. But it's not going to change. They were never going to lower it. They were never going to give you They have to make money too if they're paying Syracuse to come there. Let's just be fair and frank to everybody. Like,
and who knows? Maybe part of the deal is Syracuse gets a percentage of every stream bought too.
Yeah.
Or every ticket sales. Like, we don't know what the deal is. Like, so by not buying it, we could have been hindering. And if I was home, I probably would have bought it because I would have wanted to be able to watch it. Like, like, so.
Yeah.
So fans, we get that it's frustrating, but let's be realistic here.
The best comparison I can say, and is the Big Ten. That was the comparison that I heard from a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was the Maryland Stadium, because you're somebody who's broadcasting it from high up. And like you said, whether or not tripods, the weather, every Cornell game seems to be crappy.
Yeah.
There's never a sunny and 70 Cornell game.
Yeah.
But it's always that way in Duke. We'll get there. We'll get there towards the end. Let's go to Cornell though.
Yep.
I could do a whole hour about the fans. I don't want to talk about that. I'm already sick of talking about it from the past couple of days. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're the number one team for a reason. I mean, I know you and I kind of made the jokes about the schedule. I don't want to say jokes, right? Because you look at their schedule at face value and you see a Princeton that's their one, and then you see the other ones. They're good. I just want to tell you said it in the beginning part, but they are good.
I mean, CJ's going to break the career goals record. Let's be honest. Like,
and I think I heard that. I want to say he's going to have the least amount of games or something like that.
Yeah, like 10 games lower than everybody else that's in the top 10.
Right, which is huge. Like,
I mean, let's see.
He's good, but the thing that I went in and you kind of went in, I said limit CJ Kirst. That was my thing. Like, he's going to put up points. He's going to score. He's going to obviously get his assist. it's the other guys. And all credit to Cornell. Their other guys produced. Like, I think we have to be fair here. Like,
yeah. Well, even like, so I just did some math while you were talking. He's got 74 points on the season.
yeah,
And they've played in 11 games.
yeah,
So he's averaging almost 7 points a game.
yeah,
So he's putting those numbers up against everybody.
yeah.
You know, he put them up against Princeton. He put them up against Penn State. He put like the other top teams that they've played.
Yeah.
He's putting up those numbers. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's going to happen. And like we were looking at the box scores and all this stuff ahead of time and talking before we started. And like, if you look at everything, like there's one stretch from the second half of the first quarter to the first half of the second quarter where they rattled off 6 in a row. Other than that, it was back and forth the whole game.
Right.
Like they'd score 2, we'd score 2. We score 2, they score 1. They score 3, we score 4. Like it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's just it's that little stretch. And I'm pretty sure some of those goals were man up.
Yep.
And that's
they had the 6-on-4. They had a 6-on-4, I believe, at one point. Like,
okay. And I mean that's a whole nother thing too, that like, and like I said, I only watched maybe a quarter total of the game, but like what I did see, and I'll say it because I'll say it when I think so, the refs didn't do very good. Like the one that I saw, freaking Carter Rice is playing phenomenal defense, drives the attackman out of bounds.
Yep.
And they call a hold on him, even though the attackman is holding his stick down and pulls him down with him.
I also want to say this though, in defense of those refs, I'll say it this way: they weren't playing at the Dome. If that's at the Dome that gets reviewed and challenged by Gary, probably one of those calls. Not having the replay, which we talked about with the broadcast, not having the replay, except for the broadcasters on Corrigan Sports. They're the only ones who had the replay ability.
Yeah.
Hurts the game, and I think we're going to have to get to a point in general in lacrosse where replay is everywhere. I hate to say it that way for situations like that, or the goalmouth goals. Like,
does Ivy do replay or no?
I don't think Ivy does, as far as I know.
Okay.
Like, I want to get to a point in where we get to that point where every school has the ability to do replay. Even if it's on the phone and you have somebody upstairs like the NFL does it, just say, here, we're going to review this call. What did you see? Did you see him hit the goal mouth? Yep. Great. Yep. Goal's good. Goal's no good. The other thing, one of the things I noticed is Johnny Mullen. Second half, he played really good. He had a lot of good faceoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It was when he got in kind of the scrums, which he's done really good all year. He seemed to struggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Cornell was just quicker. And the problem is, like, the faceoffs were even. So, like, even with Johnny's, like, you're like, okay, like, that's even. Like,
honestly, all the stats were pretty even or in our favor, except for saves.
Yeah. And so, we talked about it before, Jimmy. I think somebody sent me the message. I'm not going to credit them because I don't know if this is the correct percentage, to be perfectly honest. And they're going to send me a message and say it is. The number was 27%. That's what I heard. That's what I was told for Jimmy.
Yeah, somewhere on there. Yeah. 20.
And that's his first game under 50. Second game under 50, I think I was told as well.
Okay.
So
it was probably Harvard.
I think it was. He'll mess. Tim, I know you'll message me. That's all I'm going to say. That's how I'll phrase it.
But even like turnovers, they had almost 20 turnovers, and we only had 13.
It was very sloppy. Let's just be fair here. It was very sloppy both ways. Like the passes that randomly found their way trickling out of bounds. I told you the weather reminded me of the Maryland game because there was definitely rain. I saw pictures of snow an hour and a half away. Like,
well, and
I
like,
don't know
I don't remember when it was in the game that I saw. Someone shot, it either bounced or went directly to the guy behind the goal.
Yeah.
And this is for Cornell, and he was able to. I think it was Curse because Curse was dodging down the alley,
Right.
shot, missed it wide, but it went literally right into the stick of the guy who was on attack, who was curling up.
I'm gonna put this up. So this is Matt. You're gonna tell me you can't see this, and I'm gonna.
I saw it. Yep.
Okay. I don't know if you can see it on your end. So.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think it was one of their man up goals. Curse was dodging, I think, or beat a guy. He missed the shot. And then one of the other attackmen, I don't know if it was Long or Goldstein, it literally went right into his stick. It might have even been off a save. Like either way, it ended up right in the other attackman's stick as he was curling up. And Curse kept going around the goal, and the other attackman drew the guy up, and then passed it to Curse, who was coming around that same side, and he dumped it in. So it was like that's another example of just a weird, unlucky thing that happened.
Yeah,
like that stuff happens sometimes. Like. And their goalie made some really good saves. He had a great game, and he hadn't been playing as good the rest of the season.
The great thing about former goalies, and he's going to listen to this, so he's going to hear me say this. They think they can save every shot in lacrosse. Like I've got a buddy who played in high school who will criticize every Division I goalie. There he is. I knew he would comment. Who will criticize every Division I goalie. But I got news for you. There are a lot of saves that I could say I would make, and then there's a lot of saves that in the game I wouldn't make. And I didn't even play goalie. And Matt, I know you can speak to this.
I would make 0 saves because I wouldn't step in the fucking goal because I'm not an insane person.
I'm not that crazy. Like I'll just be fair. Like goalies are crazy. I've never met a sane goalie. I will say that. And one of my best.
At least 3 screws loose, every one of them.
Yeah. Yep. But like. Tim kind of said it kind of true. They made him look better by some of the shots they were taking. Roa goes high to high, puts it stick side.
Yep.
And now Nuss doesn't have to move.
Yeah.
And you could tell like the difference. Joey had a couple down low that looked he had the one down low that he just took advantage of the weather. Like,
yep.
Little skip, like
I didn't see enough of the game to see how they were guarding Joey.
They were quick. They
were locking on him.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
They were trying to shut him. The game plan that Buzik, I think
that's right.
how you
Yep.
I think they came in with a game plan of kind of how we talked about it, but they did it for Joey. Make somebody else beat us. If Owen Helt scores 6 times, okay.
Yeah.
If Peyton Anderson goes nuts, which Owen Heltz had a good game. Like, it's the thing. Like, Owen Heltz kept
the whole first line mid played relatively well too.
Yeah,
I mean, Roa finally had a bounce back game, which is good because he needs some confidence. And he was the previous couple games. I think he was 0 for like 16 or something.
Right.
So
and the thing I also want to say, I'm gonna post this because this is a loyal fan. I just want to point this out to people. That is a comment from an SU fan. That is not.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that same sentiment on Twitter and
and I'm okay with that. Like we can admit that. Like Cornell on a neutral field. Like maybe obviously it was.
We talked beforehand of the 3 games that are left.
Yep.
This is the one where it would have been nice to win, but like.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like the only thing it potentially affects is our RPI, but like if we win the next 2 games, we're fine.
Yep.
Right. Like so, it's
yeah.
It's one of those things where all right, what do we learn from this? Let's move on and get better next week. You
have to kind of take care of business the next 2 weeks, though. Like, you can't look back on this one and be like, okay, we lost that one, and then we dropped off the cliff. I think that's
Yep. You got to bounce back
because I'll just say it this way: the Fire Garys aren't going away. And I know I hate it. We talked about it already. They aren't going away whether Syracuse wins the national championship. There will still be people who will call out Gary for whatever. Well, and I think go ahead.
I saw someone post, it might have been in the Facebook group, might have been on Twitter, whatever, but like It was like, why aren't folks when he wins, like last week when we beat Notre Dame, like why aren't people saying like, oh, he's
I think it was
an
Alex.
amazing coach, he's
I
doing a
think it was
great
Alex,
job.
by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah, it might have been Alex, but like, why aren't we doing the reverse? Like,
Yep.
like it's give him credit when we win, then too, or shut your mouth. Period.
Right.
Like,
Well, I think right. Didn't Beardsley say this? He only hears from SU fans when they lose.
yeah,
Like he doesn't hear from. There's no conversations from SU fans when we win. Like,
yep,
have the same energy. If you're gonna have the energy about Gary, have the same energy when he wins. I think that's pretty much what you're saying. Like,
yeah,
this
exactly.
is just more. We're
Well,
deviating
like
away from the Cornell game, but it needs to be said. Like,
I mean, the other point that Alex was making in the Facebook group too
go
is
ahead.
like, is we got to stop looking at this team through the lens of late 80s to early 2000s. Lacrosse is not the same. Kids are and it started in the mid to late 2000s, which is why you started to see the drop off a little bit. Like kids can choose. Kids like nowadays aren't just choosing Syracuse for the sake of Syracuse because it's one of 4 elite programs. And like, oh, I want to go to Syracuse because it's Syracuse and I don't care if I ride the bench, whatever. Like, kids are going to want to go where they can go and make a name for themselves. They're going to choose a mid-major program where they can be the guy. A la, and I'm going to give him a shout out again, even though he's probably never watching this, Brandon Corp, who I played in high school with. He had a chance to go to Hopkins. He was getting looked at by Hopkins in Virginia in some of those programs, but he chose to go to Colgate and then was the 3-time Patriot League Offensive Player of the Year and was one of the first times Colgate ever beat Syracuse in lacrosse. Right? Like, so
right.
You're getting that times 1,000 now, instead of every once in a while. So it's like
if I can interject,
the talent is
minute,
everywhere.
Brandon Corp. I was gonna say, if I can interject for a minute, Brandon Corp, DM me if you do listen, because we'll have you on in 2 seconds, and we'll talk old school. I'm just gonna say it that way, Matt, and you.
Yeah, that's fine.
You obviously, I'm sure the same goes for you. Like if.
Yep. But yeah, like talent is everywhere now, though. Like it's not at 4 schools. Right. And like we've talked about this before, it was somewhere in the late 70s to like the first time Duke won in like 07. Like that run, it was Princeton, Syracuse, Virginia, and Hopkins. And those were the only 4 teams that won a national championship, folks. Like, so it's not like that anymore. So we have to be realistic. We're not going to go 15-1 every year and beat every team by 20 goals.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how it was when Gary played, because someone commented like they were the first major Canadian players to come and play college lacrosse.
Right.
And look what they did. They dominated the game because they were freak athletes and they were amazing lacrosse players.
Right.
But now and I'm not saying every kid's like Gary, but like there's a lot more kids that are closer to that than farther away from that, right? Like, look at like a Brendan O'Neill, or Brendan, yeah. Like, I know Kark says that he's one of the closest players he's seen to Gary in terms of his size and athleticism and all that kind of stuff. Like, so it's just, I don't know. People need to be realistic, and I know that like some people say, "Oh, that's a losing mentality to like accept losing and stuff," but it's not. It's not accepting losing. It's being disappointed when they lose, but like also being realistic in that they can't win every game. It just doesn't happen.
I think it's fair. Like, I think both sides are fair though, right? Because like, I think Alex also put it like for the Gary stuff. If a championship isn't won with Joey's class, the seat starts to get hot for Gary. I think that's fair to say as well. I guess that's the way that I'm saying it. Like, if you want to look at it that way and you want to say, okay, if he doesn't win it the next 2 years, and we're going way off, but this is a great way to like, you know what I mean? But like, if he doesn't, then that's fine. And then we can have that conversation. Because I know I joke about it and I think people think I'm dead serious. I'm not. I know realistically he's not going to be on the hot seat for another couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have to be fair and honest with that. And if you think that SU, the school that never fires lacrosse coaches, is also going to come out and just fire Gary and fire Kayla, because I've seen that too on the women's side, you're an idiot. I'll just say it. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yep. Well, if you look at the women's side too, like they were relying on 2 major players to lead this team this year, and one of them got injured. right? Their whole team is sophomores and freshmen, and the sophomores barely played because you had players like Emma Tyrell and Meg Carney and all these and Megan Tyrell, like all these players who were the stars for so long that those people are starting to leave, but that leaves players that haven't been able to play a lot because you had those stars there. So like people need to chill out about her too. I don't know. People frustrate me.
Yeah,
and like I would agree that I think if we don't win this year or next year, his seat gets hot. But I think if the team makes it to Final Four the next 2 years or to the championship game, like I think it still cools off a little bit too, though, because like that's I want this team to win with this class. It's the best class we've had in a very long time, led by one of the best players we've ever had in a long time.
Right.
Like, so we should. But if like let's say we make it to the Final Four or even the championship game this year and then the Final Four next year, right? Like that's still light years better than we were 4 years ago.
I would agree with that.
Like
I'm with that.
So I don't think Wild Hack is then all of a sudden going to be like, all right, Gary, you brought this team back from the depths of hell,
right?
In lacrosse purgatory. I'm going to fire you now because we didn't win a championship. Like he's not going to do that. Like So
we're diving
now. If we the next 2 years, if we lose the first round of the tournament or don't make the tournament, 100%, yes, a different conversation needs to be had.
I think that's the thing, and like we've talked about it before, and we're actually I haven't really talked to you about it, but I want to do a whole episode on the fans.
Yeah,
just an open discussion. I'm going to invite a bunch of people because I want to have not just me and you. This is an open invite to anybody but Tim. I'll just say it that way, Tim, because I know you're listening. You're not invited because you're not a Syracuse fan, but I want to have an open dialogue with Syracuse fans where we talk about where the expectation was.
Yeah.
And where it, you know what I mean? Like where they're realistic. And I know Byron has messaged me before. I know he's a season ticket holder. I want to do a season ticket holders if we can, and I'm going to post in the group at some point. Well, you and I will talk about the timing behind the scenes, obviously. But there needs to be an open dialogue where we understand, like you said, they weren't going to go 15-1. I hate to tell people this, the way as good as Cornell is, as good as Duke can be. As good as Virginia was without the injuries, like we can have a whole discussion about all the teams without the injuries.
Yep. Yeah. Only one team can win a year, right?
Yeah. Like,
so every other team has a disappointing season, right? Like, so it's not, I don't know. It's It's okay to have high expectations, right? We've talked about this all season long.
Yep.
The expectation is Final Four or bust.
Yep.
If they don't make it there, it's okay to be disappointed about it, but to also be realistic about what you expect out of that disappointment.
Right.
Like, like if they don't make it, I will be disappointed as a fan. I think this team is better than that. Right. But you know what? Like ultimately at the end of the day, we're talking about 18 to 22-year-olds who are playing a sport we love, and like, they're human beings. Like, let's be honest about it. Right. Like,
I was going to say, I'm also
no one's dying because Syracuse didn't make the Final Four.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also going to say this. Leave the kids alone. Go after Gary and the staff all you want.
Yeah.
Leave the Joeys. Leave whoever. Leave them alone. Yeah. I've seen mentions of people writing messages to them after like a Cornell game and trashing them.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'll just say it that way. That's my rant on that.
And think about it this way, right? If you had a son who was on the team, would you want some random schlubs on social media messaging your kid, telling them they suck or they're not worth wearing whatever jersey number or whatever BS they want to spew? Like, you'd be livid as a parent, right? Like, so like, the golden rule, right? Do unto you as you want back. Like,
right.
It's okay to be disappointed, but like to do that kind of stuff is just ridiculous. Like, take that shit elsewhere.
Let's get back to the game though, because like I said, you and I can do.
I go for hours on this because it drives me up a freaking wall.
Yeah, like I said, we're gonna have a discussion behind the scenes about that, and I do legitimately want to do the open dialogue with Syracuse fans because I can host up to 10 people at the same time on the screen.
Let's go. We'll all be this big.
Yeah, it's pretty much, man. It's well for you and I. Obviously, it's I don't know how big it is, but it's like I can see 10 people and there's 5 on top and 5 on the bottom from what I look at.
Nice.
Now for you, it's 10 different things and it's little. But let's get back to Cornell because there's a couple of things. Tim even sent me a message. Funny. The defense, there was a little miscommunication. Like, and that's just from me watching 90% of it and listening to it.
Yeah.
Tim Leonard even said it during the broadcast. There was something off with the defense from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it was because, like, they go from Notre Dame where they look everything. They're communicating.
Do we know if it was grass or turf at the field?
I do not, but there's Byron. If you are still watching, was it turf or was it grass? I'm assuming it was turf. Just the way the ball was bouncing.
Oh, okay.
Because it took some weird hops. It took some weird.
And I was not a defensive player, so I can't fully speak on this, but there's a part of me because it seems similar with the Maryland game too. When the conditions are not ideal, I think there's a little bit of a hesitation on any team's defense to not go too hard to a slide because they don't want to overplay, slip, and then totally mess up everything. At least that's what I've seen before, not necessarily even from this game or the Maryland game, whatever, but like just in a general sense, players tend to hesitate a little bit when there's a chance for them to slip because they don't want to oversell and then like totally blow up everything. I'd rather like go a little bit slower, potentially get there and not over. Okay.
That's the answer, brother. I just literally sent him a message as I saw that, as I saw he commented. So I wasn't trying to derail you, Matt. I just wanted to make sure that people saw.
Yeah, no, you're good.
There is that thing, and then it's just a combination, right? Like you said in the beginning, there's that little run from Cornell where it's like a 6-goal run.
Yeah,
and that's the difference. That's the difference right there.
Well, even if you look at the end of the third quarter, we scored right at the end of the third quarter to bring it to 2, right? Like, so we were fighting back.
Right. It's just one of those things where it's so they looked. I sent you a message at the end of the first half, and I was like, really sloppy. Hopefully they adjust. And to their credit, for whatever the switch up that Gary did, where the no pads thing, all that has worked throughout the year because they came out 10 times better in the second half. Once again, it's just too little too late. That's the only issue that they ran into. They were down.
I didn't get to watch any of the fourth quarter because that's when we had started to do like cleanup and stuff for the birthday party. But like they pulled back away in the fourth quarter. I think they went 5 to R1, 4 to R1. Yeah.
I was gonna say they got it down. They got it down to 2.
Yep, at the very end of the third quarter.
They got it down to 2, and it was like, okay, here we go. Like this could get wild. This could get.
Yeah.
And credit to the Corrigan Sports Network. I will never say this again, but that's what that was their main point. If they get it to within 2, this gets crazy because then you put all the pressure on Cornell.
Yep.
Other than that, I got to be honest, I don't have a lot.
Yeah, I don't either.
A lot of it was the weather. So like Byron said in the comments, the effort was great. Like it wasn't like I can circle the offense and be like, nope, the offense sucked this game. Because the offense put enough points up to win. Like
and the only thing that bugged me the couple times I saw it happen was when we're just doing those passes up top.
Yep.
To get our guys on.
Yep.
And Cornell picked off 2 of them.
Yeah. Actually, that's a great one because
Like if you see the guy, if you see the defender kind of near the guy, maybe we don't pass that right away. Like
yeah, and you could see the Cornell defender watch it happen too,
Yeah.
which like I don't know. There was
he
a
knew
couple,
he knew the pass was coming, so he jumped it. Like
he literally was sitting up there on probably 2 yards away, maybe,
yeah,
and then immediately
Yep.
jumped it. Now, I don't remember. My brain forgets 90% of these things. I don't remember if that turned into a goal, but that's the difference in those games, right?
Yeah.
If you have one of
those
those
little
two,
things.
yeah, and the rolling the ball to them, it takes weird bounce. Now it goes out of bounds. The officials did play a part. I'm not going to say it defined the game.
Yeah.
They did play a part, though. There, once again, the replay thing drives me nuts. The Carter Rice play, after watching the replay, drove me more nuts.
Yeah, I mean they had 7 penalties, we had 8. So
yeah, like
it was pretty even.
It's even. I would tell people this. They were bad on both sides. That's what I would tell people.
Yep.
It wasn't just
Yep.
because they were the people on the TV were trying to act like it was pro Cornell refs.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way this time. Was there a couple calls that could have gone Syracuse's way? Yes, obviously.
Yep.
We play the same game every week.
Yep.
Like, is there a couple calls that could have gone Cornell's way? Probably. Like,
yeah. And if we go back to the stats too, like the first midfield line
Yep.
did their job, right?
Yep.
Hiltz did great.
Yep.
Once again, pleased that Roa got, I mean, he was 3 for 13, but at least he, and I don't know how many of those were saves versus misses.
There was he had I want to say it was I think there was 3 or 4 misses completely. The other ones mostly were in Nuss stick. I'm gonna say that wrong 10 times more trying to explain it that way.
Because you'd rather have misses than a save, right? So because those are essentially turnovers, but not marked as turnovers.
Right.
But I mean he had 3, which is good.
Yeah. And then
good
obviously Leo has 2 and 2, and Leo is the guy that seems to the thing that they were missing. The one guy who didn't score, and I hate to say it this way, but now that he's a starter, he's going to get brought up every time is Peyton Anderson. There were a couple of times where he tried to drive to the goal and do the inside move, and Cornell was ready for it.
When he got the shot off, he either missed it or a save was made too. Like the couple times I did see him do it, and I was like, okay.
I just want to say Matt's a part-time fan. That's what I just heard from Matt. So when you people come at me for predicting losses, I watch most of the game. So I kid, Matt. Obviously,
I know. Yeah, you're good.
Let's touch on Duke though. Like I said, like we were talking about, this is going to be a shorter.
Yep.
My brain is still on Masters for golf, so it's.
I'd rather watch paint dry.
We can argue about this later. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna win. Let's just phrase it that way. So I pulled up the Duke stats. Obviously, what are your thoughts on Duke?
If I think even Duke fans will be realistic in this, and that
there's one who won't be. I'll just say it that way.
These next 2 games are must wins for them.
Yep.
They're already 0-2 in the conference. Though, it's looking like so far, if things continue how things are going, it's gonna be them in Virginia that are the odd mans out, right?
Yep.
And Carolina, Houston, Notre Dame make the tournament, and potentially maybe not even Notre Dame, depending on how they finish out. So they're gonna come in with an extra sense of fire, like we gotta win this or we're done, kind of thing. But also, if you look at their 2 ACC games, they've only put up 7 goals.
Yeah.
Right? Malabar has put up 51 points, but
I think I gotta look this up because I have their stats in their tab. I just want to pull that up again. I think they outscored them by 30 goals, their opponents though. But 90% of that, like you're saying though, has been
look at the first game. They beat Bellarmine 26-7.
Yeah, I know.
That's 19 out of the goals. They
Okay,
beat St. Joseph's by 2. They beat Michigan by 1. They beat
right.
Penn by 5. They beat Richmond by 1. They beat BU
Yeah.
by 5, and BU just lost to freaking Lehigh, I think. Like they lost to Denver by 7.
Right.
You
So
know,
just for the record, Duke is outscoring opponents 161 to 128. Like you said, a lot of that is from the first couple of games. Let's just
yep.
Mike, you can DM me all you want. That's how I'm going to say it. That's
So I mean, they've got to win the next couple.
yeah.
They have to, or they're done. And I mean, they've got us in Virginia left, so
Yep.
in theory, they should beat Virginia. They're a better
Should.
team on paper than Virginia, but they need to beat us. So that's the one thing that concerns me of the most, and it's at Koskinen.
Yep.
But and I know he's not leading the team in points, but McAdory is the one who worries me the most.
Yep.
Depending where they play him, because they've played him both at attack and mid all season. They've had both him at both spots, and kind of figuring out, okay, where are we putting guys that makes the most sense as producing the most.
Right.
So it's I'm interested to see who matches up against who defensively and all that kind of stuff, and what scheme Moderna draws up. But
I mean, so just for example, they put Dwan on Curse originally.
Yeah.
Just off size alone.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
I would have put Figueres. He's the lockdown guy.
I agree with you. But they switched it up kind of. But I guess the point I'm making is, though, is it as simple as putting the biggest guy on Duke's biggest guy? You know what I mean? Like size for size, matching up ability.
Yeah.
Or do you let Figueres travel with McAdory? And you just say, okay, if McAdory's on midi, Carter Rice, you got him. The minute he comes down to attack, though, Figueres, that's your.
Yep.
I agree with you. Like I said, this is going to be a shorter one because 99% of what you said, I agree with. The message I just got is Duke's offense stinks. I'll just say, and it's not from a Duke fan. I'll just say it that way. Like,
I mean, if you look at their last 4, because you can look at their whole season, right? But like the team changes as the season goes along.
Yeah.
In the last 4 games, they've put up 6, 7, 12, and 7.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to win games putting up less than 10 goals for the most part.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's.
They're right now they're riding on their win against Michigan because Michigan is crushing in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, Michigan.
Other than that, they've got
really good.
And I mean, Richmond is a good win because Richmond is probably going to win their conference. But like other than that, they've got nothing that helps them. You know, so it's a big game for both teams.
Their keeper has a 51 save percentage.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come down to which.
I mean, these last 2 weeks ACC wide are huge, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's us playing Duke and then Notre Dame's playing North Carolina.
Right.
That's a huge game on the other end of the ACC, right? Because let's say we win and North Carolina wins. Well, now the last game's playing for the regular season championship.
Yep.
Right. Like, so, and that's a lot of what ifs and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? Maybe Notre Dame beats.
We want UNC to lose. Let's just
yes, that would help. Yes,
we want UNC to lose this week and obviously come in with the one loss, or not one loss, but we want that to
one
happen.
ACC loss. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, because we want Notre Dame to win their last 2 games because that helps us.
Yeah. And it probably impacts
seeding. I think last game because they probably only have 1. Oh, they do have 2 left. They play.
Wait, Notre Dame has 2? You mean they actually scheduled the game for the last 2 weeks? It's a miracle.
It's not even an ACC game. They play Penn.
Of course they do. we do want them to win. I know the Notre Dame fans are going to love that. Yeah, Syracuse is rooting for you guys. That's,
Yeah, helps us for sure.
That's the only reason why. I hate your coach. I hate everything about your school, but I'm going to root for you guys this week.
I remember when I was when my son did the session with Joey over their off week, we were talking about the games, and I forget who I was talking about. It might have been Duke. I was like, oh, I really wanted Duke to lose. He goes, I didn't. He goes, I want them to win because we want them to be better when we play them, so that if we beat them, it's better for us. You know, like
Breaking news: Matt is Joey's best friend. Everybody, in case you didn't know this, and Matt will continue to tell us stories about this. No, I mean, like I said, this is going to be a quicker one because I don't have a lot on Duke, and Mike's going to kill me for that. And I know I'm going to get a message from Mike saying, "Oh, I thought you guys were going to have this big analysis."
Yeah,
they're an ACC game. Throw out the records. I say this about every ACC game: throw out the records, and just it's going to happen. Like,
yeah. I'm looking at how's their face-off guy.
I've got. I don't have their. Hold on.
I'm looking.
Oh, we're gonna make this really awkward for everybody watching because we're
about 50. They're both at 50% or 55%.
Okay,
they're not bad. It looks like they've got a kind of two guy attack.
Yeah. You know, it's okay. We saw Tim's guy Ippolito against Cornell. Forgot to mention that as well for 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
Tim's a big fan of his.
Nice.
So
because Jimmy got a penalty, right?
Yeah, meaningless minute. I'll call it that way, obviously.
Yeah.
Like we'll end on this because like I said, I got nothing else. I am out of everything I got. What's the score?
Oh Christ!
I'm gonna put one of these times you're gonna get it right, and then I'm gonna make sure that I clip that part and just send that part out.
13-8.
Nothing else. 13-8.
Cuse. Yep.
Okay. I'll say 14-10.
Okay.
Right. Same win.
Yep. Just a little bit more scoring.
Yeah. So Alex, you heard this again. I just said they're gonna win. Okay. He knows who he is. No, I legit think they're gonna win. Like I expect them to win. I mean, I've gotten messages from the non-Duke fans who thinks that Syracuse is gonna win as well.
Yep.
So then we're on to Carolina, which we'll do next week, and my brain will
hopefully be a huge game.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm good unless you got anything else.
Good news is no more Corrigan sports for the season. We're done with it.
Don't say that. Don't count on that yet. Don't do that. Some round one game is going to be on there, and then we're all going to be screaming, and then I'm going to have to see the 10 Facebook posts about it. And
Matt said we were done with that.
Yeah. Message Matt. Remember, Matt just said that. I did not say that. But like I said, I'm going to type up a post in a little bit. Probably not today, but we're going to we'll figure out some people for the open dialogue. And then I'm probably going to do an NCAA preview one as well. Probably kind of the same route. I know Tim has already reached out to me and said I can come on. I'll just say it that way. And I know he's listening, so I know he'll appreciate that.
We should do a selection show episode.
Yeah, like something like that. Not like a 2-hour one, but just like okay.
Yeah, like right after the bracket's out, just a little like thoughts and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like remember, Matt's the primary host now. Matt is taking over everything. I have nothing to do. I just hit the buttons. You heard that. Everybody heard that. He's dictating when the schedule is. So
you're the tech guy.
I'm okay with that. No, but like I said, we're gonna end it there before things get really crazy and Matt starts saying a lot of weird stuff about lacrosse facts, or he starts showing his lacrosse cards to everybody again, and then
go Orange, right?
Yeah, go Orange.